There's no key to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everyone. So just do you. I always kind of try and put myself in situations, like I've always tried to make records that I want to listen to. Like people always say, do you make music for your fan base? And I go, no. Like if I made music for my fan base, like I wouldn't be happy. I'd be making music to appease someone else. The reason I create music and play music is essentially to make myself happy. I feel like that's why anyone creates. You might never be the best at something, but you can always work harder than someone who is the best. I came into an industry where I am not the most talented person in my industry, but I know I can outwork everyone because that's the one thing I can do.
I just think being yourself is so powerful. And I feel like a beautiful person, but without sounding weird about it, but because of it, I have now a confidence in myself. Because of being myself, all of these great things have happened. So now I can walk into an award show dressed however I want and be super confident about it because it's like I've done what I set out to achieve without compromising. You're allowed to be artistic and don't let anyone dim your light. Like you should always shine as bright as that. But it's about instilling confidence in people. And I think me having success, I can say to her, look, I was really weird and I've managed to have success. So if you just carry on doing you, you're going to have the same thing.
If you fail, you've not lost anything. And if you achieve and make it good, the possibilities are endless.
Everything leads up to a point and there's steps that you have to take basically, and just remind yourself of the steps.
Should I do this? Should I not do this? I'm just going to experience it.
Of course I'm insecure. Everyone I know is insecure. I think successful people are overly insecure because you have people kind of poking holes in you the whole time. I think because most men that I know are insecure, but for fear of being called a precious little snowflake would never say anything. And my dad always said to me, like, if you don't need to get a degree to do a job, then go out and experience it. Like, you know, if you want to be a doctor, go and get your grades and stuff, but if you want to be a musician, your education is going to come from doing shows, writing songs, practicing, meeting people, networking, so just start off as early as possible and do that. Theory about the 10,000 hours theory. When I first started out, I saw Damien Rice in concert. I mentioned it in a song. I said, I won't stop till my name's in lights, Stadium Heights with Damien Rice. And literally, like, I watched him and was like, I want to do that one day. And wrote a million songs, did a million gigs, ended up kind of doing a similar thing. But it literally came from writing a song a day or 2 songs a day or 5 songs a day and just getting all these songs out of me, doing a million gigs, sometimes 3 gigs a day. We did 6 gigs a day one year at Glastonbury. But I think you view it as a dirty tap. When you switch a dirty tap on, it's going to flow shit water out for a substantial amount of time, and then clean water is going to start flowing, and now and then you'll get a bit of shit, but as long as it gets out of you, it's fine. So with songs, you're going to write shit songs at the beginning. You are. My songs were terrible. My raps were terrible. Like, I listened to it the other day, it was awful. But I got it out of me, and the more and more you write, the more and more you experience, and then you start flowing clean water, and songs start getting better and better and better, and when you're on a good streak, you're writing good songs, now and then you're going to write a shit song, and that song is out of you and you can move on. And it's the same with gigs. Like, you will always play bad gigs at the beginning. That's what you need to do, and then the more gigs you do, the better you'll get. Now and then you'll have a shit gig, but that's all right because you've got it out of you and you've experienced it. So I just say the more and more you can do, you put in your 10,000 hours, write as many songs as possible, gig as much as possible, always be nice to people, because that is how the music industry works now. It doesn't work on who's the best, it works on who's got the best music and who's the nicest.
The key is not to be swept up. I'm an artist, but I'm still a human being. I'm not a pop star. You know, I'm still a normal guy that grew up in the countryside, and as all my friends are still the same. I drive a Mini Cooper, I shop in the same supermarket. I feel like the moment you lose that, you start losing your audience, because people can't relate to you. So you just have to be human.
When people say artists are born with talent, you're not. You have to really learn and really practice.
I've always had an ethos of just working harder than anyone else that I admire and respect, and trying to portray and be nice. My dad always told me, choose someone you admire and work harder than them and be nicer than them.
I don't know, there's a few things, but someone said something to me the other day when I was in the studio, and he said, dare to suck, which I thought was a really, really good thing, where you're not afraid to fail. I think that's a really good thing for a musician to have. So yeah, dare to suck, basically.
I want to stress the point that it's not, stuttering is not
is not a thing you have to be worried about at all. And even if you have quirks and weirdness, you shouldn't be worried about that. The people that I went to school with were the most normal and were the coolest when we grew up. Like I was telling Emily earlier that one of the cool kids from school now does my plumbing. So that's a fact. That's a fact. So my thing that I wanted to stress most tonight is not necessarily to shed light on stuttering or make it a thing. Is to just stress to kids in general is to just be yourself, because there's no one in the world that can be a better you than you. And if you try to be the cool kid from class, you'll end up being very boring and doing plumbing for someone. And yeah, it's just be yourself, embrace your quirks. Being weird is a wonderful thing.
My goals and dreams, I've said this a million times, my goals and dreams are always to play Shepherd's Bush Empire and have a gold album. And with the week the album came out, we played Shepherd's Bush Empire and the album went gold. And then from there, it's just kind of gone.
So it's quite easy for me to be myself because I've been every step of the way. Every time I've been myself, I've had success in it. But I think it's hard when you've had a lot of success musically, maybe doing something that you didn't believe in 100%. You know, sometimes the success that you find isn't actually you being yourself. But also I think it's the fake it till you make it attitude of if you let people think you're successful, then you will eventually become successful.
My pain might be different to someone else's. It might not be on the scale of anyone else's, but it still creates music. I don't really see the point of making music if it's not an expression of self or a form of therapy. You know, it's like if I have a bad day, I want to write a song. I don't want to write a song to have a hit. I want to write a song because I want it to make me feel better. When you're angry with something, you write either an email or a letter to that person, and then you just write everything down and then you don't give it to them. It's just about getting it out, and it just makes you feel better. You have it, you read it, you rip it up, you're done.
All creatives are prone to real ups and downs because you have a part of your brain that you open to write a song that you let these really personal emotions out to write the song, but then that part doesn't close sometimes, so you are just you feel so much and you are up and down and up and down, and my highs are really high but my lows are really, really low, and I got really low and realised that the thing that made me happy was writing songs and getting those feelings out again.
I find I've been working on it for the past eight years, and whether it be getting rid of a phone and only answering emails like, you know, twice a day, or whether it's like cutting down my friendship group to the bare minimum just so I trust everyone, or whether it's living in the countryside in the middle of nowhere and kind of closed off a bit from reality. I think all of these little things are in place to protect my mind, and it's all working, I think.
Fame is an enhancer of anything that is going on. If you have an ego, you get a bigger ego. If you're anxious, you get more anxious. If you're shy, you get more shy. I look at my dad, and my dad has 4 friends now, and they're like his core friends. And he probably had 20 friends when he was 20 or 25. But the older you get, the smaller your friendship group shrinks, and fame just speeds that up. It just enhances that. So my friendship group has shrunk, but I'm left with the people that I'd have been left with in 20 years anyway. So yeah, I have changed. I've learned a lot. I don't care what people think. Like, I'm so happy with where I am. I love my friends. I love my wife. I love my family. No one's to celebrate the success with. Like, what's the point? So I'd say the greatest success has been settling.
I want a 30-year career, not a 5-year career. I don't want to do it all up. You know, we could have done stadiums a lot earlier on. We could have done arenas a lot earlier on. We could have released 5 albums in 5 years, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I remember being around a lot of my contemporaries that were doing so much better than me, and my manager being like, just slow down, just slow down, just slow down. And now I'm still here 6 years on and they're not. And I think you like the whole music industry, you just need to just pace yourself. Just take time to make great albums. You don't have to stick out music all the time to stay relevant. You'll stay relevant by making great records, and to make great records, you have to spend a lot of time to do them.
If you don't aim for the top of the mountain, how are you ever going to get halfway?